Awesome. Welcome to You Don't Have to Be Alone to Feel Lonely. Who would like to dive deeper into what sparks connection? Who here is ready to have deep connection in all your relationships? My name is Agnes Laughlin, your host. Welcome. 3 mistakes that we make that leave us feeling discouraged, lonely, disappointed, procrastinating, that deep, loving relationships have passed us by, are just that we are not able to live from aliveness. So I would like to introduce everyone. You introduce yourself. Take 1 minute to talk about yourself if you want. If you don't want to participate, you can black your screen out, but I would love you to just share a little bit about yourself and why you decided to be here tonight. Let me put it on my gallery view. The first one I see is Becky. So can you unmute?
Sure.
I didn't mute anyone yet. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm here because you gave me a call, and one of the things that that resonated with me was what are your subconscious blocks to making friendships, or why we sometimes don't. Is it just because we don't like the way someone looks or what they say? So that was the catch for me.
Okay, great. Linda, would you like to say a couple words? You don't have to.
Yeah, sure. Well, we all know that it is more difficult to make girlfriends once you're in your 70s and you get all your little interests in order. And I would like to meet girlfriends who share my interests, people that share my interests. And it's not always that easy, even if you're outgoing with people. So, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vicki, share something.
Hi, everyone. You gave me a call, and I just thought it was kind of interesting because, as you get older, I don't have a hard time meeting people or establishing friendships or relationships, but a lot of times you just find yourself lonely, even if you're not alone. Like, I know I was married and I still felt lonely, even though I wasn't alone. And now I am alone, and sometimes loneliness does set in. So it's something that I know I have to keep working on to build more relationships, not just for business, but to really, I want to be putting myself out there, and I want to now establish a relationship because I think it's important as you get older. So I thought this might be interesting.
Thank you. Gary, do you have something to say? Welcome. We have a guy here. Isn't that awesome? Yay for Gary.
Yeah, I have to agree with Vicki. The hook that got me into here is your comment about you don't have to be alone to be lonely. So now I'm living with a house full, but I still get those lonely feelings.
Thank you. Karen?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen. Agnes said I had recently connected and stuff like that, and so the invitation to come in here. So there's times when I want to really kind of like hide away, but you know, it's interesting with kind of business and networking and stuff. It's like, is it friendships? Is it just business? Do you feel lonely or do you feel connected? And so all of those feelings and stuff. So.
Okay, thank you. Marilyn.
Well, I'm here, Agnes, because you called me and you have called me for a number of things and I never do it. Frankly, I really did not think about the topic. I just thought, Marilyn, you got to do this at least once. So here I am.
I'm so glad you're here. All right, next is Marzina. Welcome.
Hello. I'm here because my friend Agnes, the one who was late, she sent me the info and she said you should join. I am introvert. I'm not easy to connect with people. I love to be alone, but last year was crazy. Most of my friendship just disappeared whatever I had, and I also had some health issue, and I noticed how being lonely, it's not fun. That's what I'm here.
Thank you, thank you. And Agnes, Aga? Whatever.
Could be Aga or Aggie. Hi, everyone. Well, I'm here for two reasons. One of which is that the topic was very interesting. I agree with Vicky and Gary. I really don't have issues creating new friendships, but sometimes we don't realize that the people we meet, we might not connect as deeply with them as we would want to. So I would like to learn about the ways of doing it, and also I'm here to cheer on to my friend who's joined as well. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And Anne, would you like to share just like for a minute about why you're here or what you hope to get?
Well, I don't usually have problems meeting people or having friends, but I just was interested in the topic and what you had to say.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being that proactive. Let's see. I accidentally turned off my, okay. Great. So thank you again. You are amazing. It's awesome that you took the action step to be here today. So let's take a deep breath and connect to the love that we are. What powers the happiness in your life? And what was the happiest day of your life or happiest time? Reflect for a few seconds on what was the emotion that you felt at that time. Maybe I'd like for one person to share. Anyone want to raise your hand or? Start talking. Anyone? Happy day, happy time.
I'll go ahead and share something. So probably one of the happiest moments was when my son, who's in the Air Force, was deployed and had come back to the United States, and they surprised me with him showing up at my mom's place and stuff. And so he had his, let's see, what was she, about 11-month-old daughter, and I was squeezing him so hard he was afraid I was going to hurt the 11-month-old.
Oh yeah, what was the emotion you felt then?
It was just overwhelming joy and just happiness.
Happiness, joy. Okay, thank you. So my question is, Why don't we feel this way all the time? What gets in our way? It is my honor to tell you some, or share with you some of life's secrets that I have come across, and I just want to share. I want to share a true story about myself and how pain pushed me to make some changes. One day I had an awakening that caused me to realize I had been sleepwalking through most of my life. I love my life. I am a former nurse practitioner, theta healer, emotional healer, life mastery institute coach, higher brain living facilitator. But my life has not always been happiness unlimited. And I hardly ever share this, but just before my 8th birthday, I was sent to live in an orphanage with my 2 siblings. And my lonely life became even lonelier. In spite of being surrounded by many children, I felt little connection or desire to play. Most of the children were in emotional turmoil that I had little understanding of. I found solace, though, in a library of books. Fairy tales caught my attention. Here was a magical way to connect to a fantasy reality of beautiful young girls with challenges, opportunities. I was enchanted. Life was full of adventures that always ended happily. Later, those fairy tales were replaced by stories of Nancy Drew and Sherry Ames Nurse. I vowed to myself that I would never become a nun. Yeah, I was being taken care of by nuns, and life was too much of an adventure for me to even think of entering a convent for the rest of my life. When I was in my 40s, it seemed like I had no friends, and relationship was something that just happened or did not. I was married. I had 2 children, no health or other real issues. Why was I not feeling connected to my life? In fact, it took me a number of more years to realize my life was off track. I call it going through the motions and busyness and unawareness of loneliness without a deep connection to love in myself. I would go through the busyness of life, caring for a husband, children, working a job, cooking, cleaning, social outings. One day I woke up from this sleepwalk when a visiting stranger was the occasion for me to examine what I really wanted in life. It was painful at first. I cried. I was determined also. I said that love was the only thing that mattered. And I read a book then called Power versus Force, recommended by a friend. And this helped me to feel that deep joy and connection were possible. The changes did not happen overnight, but gradually over the next 2 years. And what changed was me. I so wanted to feel that connection to myself as love. I asked for it in meditation. I released emotional baggage and my beliefs about who I am and what is possible. I learned and received healing modalities that changed my life. I began to live my life with more purpose, passion, and I attracted these amazing relationships. My relationship with myself changed, and I feel much deeper joy and gratitude in every aspect of my life. And that is why I would love to empower you in connecting to more of that inner power, to have that joy and feeling radiant, that aliveness that life offers. So there's what I call 3 mistakes. There could be more, but I'm just going to focus on 3 that men and women often make in avoiding loneliness and in seeking love, joy, and connection. So some of the things that you all shared, I felt that way too. And it's common to all of us, I think. But we may not call it loneliness. We may call it anxiety, sadness, procrastination, inability to take action. It's what I call a disconnection from the self. We are social beings, and we are wired since our species began to operate and connect in social settings for our survival. Cigna Global Health, it's a world big health company in the US, has collected statistics on loneliness, and they report that feeling lonely sometimes or always occurred in 61% of Americans they surveyed, probably around 2018. But since COVID, this number has increased from 61 to at least 66 to 86%, at least some loneliness. And Dr. Lissa Rankin says feeling lonely is the #1 factor in the cause of disease. It could be heart disease or depression, any number of diseases. Disconnect is prevalent in all segments of society. And I believe it's related to the quality of our relationships. And it doesn't matter if you are married, young, or over 50. According to Cigna statistics, 28% of those in the first year of marriage voice feeling lonely. And 28% of those married over 20 years also voice a feeling of loneliness. Loneliness locks up joy for us. It's more common in women. And most women over 50 think they will have more time to relax and enjoy life. And they probably even deny disconnect. So this lack of awareness, so this is the #1 factor, that one of the 3 factors. This lack of awareness leaves them feeling stuck and hopeless. I want to share a story of Kate Spade, who committed suicide at the age of 55, much to the disbelief of her friends and family. I believe there is a part of Kate Spade in all of us. I think there is a spectrum of loneliness that goes from, just some of the time, occasional, to the other side of the spectrum, which is like severe depression. According to Kate's sister, Kate had a history of bipolar disorder, which results in periods of severe depression followed by periods of manic excitement. Kate left this life with a husband and a daughter who were both present the day she died. Comments from those who knew her ranged from shock to disbelief. And the reason I mention Kate is that we often make assumptions of those we know based on outward barometers of success without really knowing what they are dealing with on the inside. This disconnect can show up at any time. And I just want to share some statistics from the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, on homicides. I think this was in 2015, 27,394 homicides. But there were 44,955 suicides in the same time frame. So their suicide is like 60% higher than homicide. And most of those, a lot of those are, guns. 1 in 10 in the US is depressed, and 1 in 10 is addicted to alcohol or drugs. So my recommendation to create more love and a vision of what you want, realize that connection and love is a state of inner being and wholeness. It's not a passing feeling. Read some books on building a great love relationship. Some books that I have read, if you want to borrow them, you're welcome. Just about loving yourself. Louise Hay, the founder of Hay House, writes about the power lies within you. And I recommend her mirror strategy. Whenever you look in a mirror, smile and say, I love myself. Say this multiple times throughout the day. When you do this, you reprogram your subconscious thoughts and beliefs. So, mistake number 2, we often make about thinking about being lonely, is that our attempts for happiness never feel like enough. And that's because ghosts from our past may revisit us with thoughts about our self-worth. We all hold subconscious beliefs about who we are and what is possible. Are we listening to ourselves every day? What are thoughts and self-talk about? Awareness is an important part of healing, and the subconscious mind is said to control 88% of the operating system of our conscious mind. These programs in the subconscious mind are meant to protect and keep us the same. They often prevent us from making changes that would empower us. How would a person know if she has a limiting belief? Guess what? We all have them, especially if we have ancestors. A lot of our limiting beliefs were programmed from our parents and our grandparents, great-grandparents, etc. And these beliefs are found through muscle testing and theta healing. There is an easy way to release them once we have brought them to our conscious awareness. A client of mine named Therese, she was 63, divorced. She had feelings of overwhelm and overwork. And she recently said to me, I think all men are just jerks. Or you might say to yourself, all good men are taken. This is your subconscious mind talking to you. Teresa found new love before we met, but this relationship was terminated suddenly. She spiraled into a deep depression and even contemplated suicide. She found some ways to heal this, though, and when we met at a hypnosis conference, we worked later on beliefs about loving herself and forgiving herself. So why is it important to know about and release beliefs that limit us? Because this is a form of disconnection from the self that influences relationships, how we have meaningful work in every area of our life. These programs, like I said, run our present circumstances unless we release them. These beliefs repeat and can cause feelings of unworthiness and pain, or maybe feeling like a victim. Most people who hear that they need to love themselves either tune it out or maybe reject it. They think it's too out there, or they say, I already do love myself. But this is their conscious mind speaking. Many believe that loving themselves means just treating themselves to all of what life has to offer, like a family, car, house, vacation, massage. Rumi, he's a 13th century mystic. He says our task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers that we have built against it. So a person's results are reflections of what she is thinking and focusing on. How will a person know if she is thinking empowering thoughts? Her feelings are an indication of the conscious awareness of her thoughts and her vibration. Does a woman feel angry, sad, resentful? Or does she feel love, joy, happiness? Sometimes, most of the time, all the time. I'm not saying you can't feel sad when it's a sad time, but how long do we allow ourselves to stay in and maybe replay like a rewind a computer or a movie, old griefs and sadness that happened in the past? So changing beliefs requires the support of a healer or coach who can guide us to empower ourselves with the freedom to love. Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. says that love is the greatest demon that we wrestle with. Why is this? Why do we try to control how we receive love? What if instead we are totally free to love someone without ever expecting anything in return? Can we even imagine the possibility? So a suggestion I recommend is theta healing. It's a form of prayer. It addresses the creator of all that is to heal on various levels, spiritual, physical, or emotional. You can release limiting beliefs. These are like old programs in your subconscious mind that are replaced with positive beliefs instantly. So what would it be like to remove blocks to a great relationship, to find a soulmate? I recommend that there's on my website a healing meditation, theta healing meditation, just for loving yourself and expanding that love. Mistake number 3, last one. Women and men often have a fuzzy vision of how to create a life they love. They lack tools or a roadmap on how to get what they desire and long for. So why is this important? If one is not in touch with who they are, their map to realize their potential is fuzzy. They may keep searching for the right relationship, but without changing oneself, a person will be plagued by what I call chronic dissatisfaction, or they may be oblivious, like I consider a friend of mine, Marilyn, not the one here. She has had 3 husbands. She is very busy and doesn't take time for herself in terms of personal growth. She loves to chatter and has only probably a superficial vision of who she is and her potential for love. Business and busyness covers her pain and inability to make time for herself and love. I guess she makes time for vacations, but that's probably it. So in a sense, her perception is limited. Relationships are the only way we personally grow, and life without relationships is meaningless. I just want to share about our expectations in relationships have changed considerably in the last 100 years. Esther Perel, she's a relationship coach and psychotherapist, and she's written a number of books on relationship. I think one of them is called The State of Affairs. And she says our understanding of marriage and what to expect in intimate relationship has skyrocketed. 100 years or maybe even 75 years ago, marriage was mostly an economic arrangement for the purpose of producing children and for the management and transfer of money. Now we believe that happiness comes from finding the right partner to meet all our needs. Our expectations of this partner are often so expansive that it would take a large number, a plethora of people to meet them all. We are so easily disappointed and give much of our creative power away to someone else. Developing ourselves creatively without blame and without seeing ourselves as a victim of circumstances takes time and growth, and it is possible. So my recommendation for creating more empowering relationships is to focus on creating face-to-face meaningful conversations. Join or organize groups that give you a sense of value and belonging. This is not the internet, but it can be a starting place to locate groups for you. So I realize that we're more limited than we have been before COVID, but that's not going to be what we're going to blame for our situation. Ask questions and learn more about your neighbors, fellow church members, co-workers, volunteer. I recently, in the last year, have taken up the habit of calling connections on the phone and asking them what is going on in their lives. People I have called have shared about health challenges, about the loss of family members, such as a parent or even a spouse. We've shared about health challenges, surgeries, things like that. I recommend connecting to a variety of people to satisfy a variety of our needs and desires. To not expect just one person to satisfy all your needs. Give or connect to those who give you a sense of being fully alive. And learn to be a good conversationalist and listener by asking and saying the 3 magic words. Tell me more. I want to share a story about Diane, who was in college with me. Many years later, she developed back pain. And I thought this was related to her son dying in a motorcycle accident and her inability to release this trauma. Later, I found out from a chiropractor that back pain in a woman is different from that in a man. And women is related to stress in their intimate relationships. So Diane was stressed in her relationship. She died a number of years ago of probably a failure to open her heart and heart disease. And the power of Alcoholics Anonymous is in the group connections and support they give. There, a person feels accepted without judgment. And many who go there end up releasing addictions for good. A lady I know, Candy, was controlled by addiction to alcohol and television. She was definitely lonely, no family, depressed. She was alone in life and in her 70s. She saw herself as a victim and had unawareness of how to create her life. But she did desire to change and joined AA as a way to support her in a better life at my local church. And AA addresses some of the key components of addiction, including that you are alone and have no support. It is amazing how it uplifts the participants. After a year there, she gave up alcohol and made a new set of friends, and her positive attitude has served her well. So a roadmap will ignite the process of learning to love yourself and completely transform the way a person looks at herself and how she sees others. So as long as a woman looks to other people to help her feel accepted and happy, she will keep searching and never discover the deep joy of connecting to herself and others. So it's about accepting responsibility for what is in your life, 100% responsibility. So this Therese person, I know she's a successful business and job search coach, but she does communicate well and has great relationships, but she's probably not analyzed some of her patterns and her self-talk about men. And another friend, she was a nurse, or she is a nurse, joined my mastermind class and changed her perception about love and her other perceptions. And she worked on forgiveness and created a relationship at the age of 62. And she recently got married for the first time last October at the age of 63. So a lot of features about what I'm talking about, making change, says that our habitual patterns are mostly subconscious, and we need to engage more in changing our brain waves and the way we think. So one book that I read is Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural, which says that past emotional events can trigger the same emotions and responses in a similar experience today.
Oh, Agnes, you should mute. You should mute Anne. She fell asleep.
Yes, I did. Thank you. Sorry about that. So, past emotional events can trigger the same emotions in a similar experience today. So, by the time you may be in your mid-30s, if you keep thinking, acting, and feeling the same way without changing anything about yourself, the majority of who you are becomes a memorized set of unconscious automatic thoughts and reactions and behaviors, and just routine familiar things. How many of us have been maybe driving a car somewhere and maybe a whole hour or half hour passes and it's like you don't even remember how you got there. Your body is like on autopilot. So sometimes our life are run by these kind of patterns. So Dr. Dispenza and others say 95% of who we are is as adults is so habituated through repetition that the body has been programmed to be the mind, and the body, not the conscious mind, is running the show. That means that only about 5% of who you are is conscious. And the remaining 95% is the subconscious body-mind program. So in order to create something significantly different in our lives, we must find a way to pull the mind out of the body and change our state of being. So I'm going to share a way to do this. I'm excited to share in a few minutes. So having no map and limiting beliefs and unawareness of self-disconnect, many women are locked in the same safe patterns of pacing around in what I call a cage. Could be a prison too. So a disconnected person is like a beautiful songlark locked in a cage. The bars of the cage could be health challenges, lack of family connection, lack of an engaging partner, maybe no partner. So our little songlark is stuck, pacing in that little cage. Get up at 7, have coffee, breakfast, check email, go to work, the doctor, dinner, some same night routine. The world is out there, but you have no path or way to get there into that joy and connection. So our little songlark is stuck inside that cage, and the door is stuck. And she's looked outside of herself for connection and validation, but the secret to connection has really been inside of her. Yes, the power to connect and love and express unique gifts is inside of her. So I have a solution that I'm going to recommend. It's kind of simple. I call it a virtual one-day retreat. Dive deeper into confidence, creativity, and connection. And by the way, and if we're going to have a little breakout room, and then we're going to have a meditation after that to have more confidence to create that life that we want. So my one-day virtual retreat is online. Its focus is to focus on you, engage you to connect with the within and gain a deeper understanding of your power to create your life and increase your inner power and unleash more of your potential in a sacred community. And we will discover how life is an interconnection of only 4 dimensions or relationships that you create every single day. So these 4 dimensions or relationships are your mind and emotional wellness. So we'll use theta healing to release and reprogram some ancestral beliefs, and emotional wellness to release trapped emotions. I won't go into all of that now, but the second relationship we have is with our body, and that's including our health. So we will envision and create amazing health in this program, and I'll share many of my secrets on hydration, toxins to avoid, secrets about parasites, answering questions about creating your life without the 3rd leading cause of death in this country. And the 3rd dimension or relationship is the other people in our life. How to become an amazing listener and communicator. And releasing your heart walls. And releasing the 4th dimension is about how we create our life and our beliefs about money and abundance. So we'll discuss money blocks, how to change your money mindset, and just how to activate this amazing map that I share. It's from a process called Higher Brain Living. And we also will have some journaling and some forgiveness exercises. So the date I've selected is Saturday, April 24th from 9:45 to 4:30. The investment is $97. And prior clients working with me invested between $300 and $500 for this in-person opportunity. So I want to put you in a little breakout room. I just wanted you to share with someone sometime in your life where you may have felt lonely or disconnected and what you did to overcome that. And just share anything that you feel about what's been said or what your plans are in terms of having more connections. So share about maybe sometime, be vulnerable and just share. I shared about my disconnection a little bit. I could have shared more, but I think you've got the idea that it's about sharing and what you did to overcome it, because we all have that power to create something new. So let me see if I can activate some breakout rooms. So I think we have, I'm going to try and create, we have 9. I'm going to create 4 breakout rooms. All right. So you'll see something on your screen and just click on join room when I say right now, okay? Let's see. Everyone sees that? We'll spend about 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Okay. Then we'll open it up for any questions or any other comments. So this is a meditation for unshakable confidence. It's theta healing at its most awesome. So let us just take a deep breath and connect to our heart energy. And take that energy to Mother Earth. Let us open all our chakras. Let's have unconditional love pour into every cell in our body like a waterfall. Let's imagine that we are walking on the seashore and feel the sun beaming down on you. Hear and feel the waves gently rolling over the sand. Perhaps you dip your toes in the waves and let it wash over your feet. We're going to connect now to Creator of all that is, or our higher self, the pure power of our intention. And going to ask Creator of all that is commanded to resolve on the history level and clear counsel on the soul core and genetic level and send to God's light all beliefs. So this is what we're going to erase from the old computer program. And we may not know if this applies to us. So we'll let Creator, God, our higher self decide. But we'll just have the willingness to release by just saying yes with me. That's all you have to say, yes, is when I say yes. So, Creator of all that is, I release a lack of confidence. Yes. Creator, I release I am unsupported. Yes. I release I am alone. Yes. I release I am unworthy of confidence. Yes. I release I am not beautiful. Yes. I release it is not safe to be beautiful. Yes. I release I must work hard and struggle to attain my desires or abundance. Yes. I release I do not respect and honor myself. Yes. I release that I see lack in myself or a lack of divine gifts. Yes. I release I am unworthy of love. Yes. I release it is not safe to be confident. Yes. I release I fear speaking. Yes. I release I am not a great conversationalist. Yes. And now we're going to write a new computer program. So it's commanded to fill me, each person here with. So say yes to each program. It's an empowering one. So if you want it, say yes with me. I have unshakable confidence because I am connected to Creator and confidence. Yes. It is safe for me to be confident. Yes. I accept that I am divinely guided and supported. Yes. I acknowledge that I have divine gifts and I accept my divine gifts. Yes. I make decisions with confidence. Yes. I plan my time efficiently. Yes. I act promptly. Yes. I love my life. Yes. I focus and concentrate easily. Yes. I allow my creative mind to maximize my potential. Yes. I am beautiful because I am a divine child of Creator. Yes. It is safe for me to be beautiful. Yes. My desires and abundance come to me easily. Yes. I respect and honor myself. Yes. Others respect me. Yes. I love myself. Yes. I smile easily. Yes. I am radiant with Creator's joy. Yes. I breathe with grace and ease. Yes. I am a good speaker and know this is possible. Yes. I am a great conversationalist. Yes. I speak my truth and I know how to access this truth. Yes. I am a great listener. Yes. Every day and in every way, I am better and better. Yes. Cleansing and washing all soul fragments and anything else Creator feels is required for you. My ancestors' highest and best will be changed here now. Thank you. Thank you. So we witness this in Theta Healing on 4 levels. The first is the core level, the front of our brain. That's our past. Genetic level in the center of our brain, whatever may be inherited. History level is our ancestors around our shoulders. Soul level around our heart. So I witness, you can witness it for yourself as well. Thank you. Thank you. When we witness it, it becomes real. And we're grateful. We acknowledge that it's already here. So say yes again last time. Amen. Okay. I'm going to stop.